Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Stacking Triggers for a great, fantastic BNR announcement today, December 4th, 2023. It is a glorious day. We are seeing great changes in many Eternal formats. Eternal? I don't know if these are internal, but
I would consider Modern for sure is Pioneer. I think they want it to be because it doesn't rotate. I think when they say Eternal, they mean non-rotating formats.
Yep. But great bands in today. Lots of news to discuss. Dan, we called a lot of things.
We sure
in
did.
This announcement. Granted, a lot of some of it was telegraphed.
Yeah, the Fury was definitely telegraphed. I also kind of bought into Trumpeting Carnosaur being in 2 decks and not thinking about the Geological Appraiser existing. Although I think the Trumpeting Carnosaur doing the thing is also a thing, but we'll talk about it here, and then also we'll talk about Pauper slightly because they've been
that one.
People have been calling it for a long time, because of how warping it was. But yeah, we'll talk about that. So let's get into it.
Yeah. This announcement is 7 minutes fresh for us right now.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, let's get in. So big thing, the entire announcement. I'm just going to run through the list really fast, and then we can kind of dig deeper. Standard, no changes. Pioneer, we got Karn, the great creator, is banned. Hallelujah. We got Geological Appraiser banned. Mm-hmm. I haven't played Pioneer since its inception.
Yep.
And Smuggler Copter is unbanned. I felt a little light on this, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Modern, we have a Fury ban. Modern, Up the Beanstalks is also banned in Modern now. No more beans. Thank God.
Thank God. That really was obnoxious. What an obnoxious format.
Awful. Yeah. Legacy, no changes. I mean, it was called. It's a good format. There's everything's 10% or less than 10%. Sorry.
Yes.
Vintage, no changes because nobody can afford it. Explorer, it takes the same bans as Pioneer. They want Explorer to mirror Pioneer as much as possible.
Sure did.
Smuggler's Copter is not on Arena, so it is not unbanned there currently. And Pauper, we see the Monastery Swift Spear ban, and the effective date for Tabletop and Magic Online is today. Arena tomorrow.
Yep. So if you're an Arena player, go buy these, wild card these cards, and then so that way you get your free wild card. You get these cards, and then you get the free the free wild cards with them.
It would be Karn. I think Karn is Karn. No, I don't think Karn's on. Oh wait, it is. It is. It got the Explorer band. Yeah. So just Karn and Geological Appraiser. So
yeah, I think you might be able to do. I think you might be able to do Fury too, but I don't know.
No, Fury's. I don't think it's there, but also Fury is not historic.
So, okay. Sure.
Yeah. But like Modern does not reflect on Arena at all.
Got it.
Yeah. But yeah, let's kind of dig in a little more to some of these details. Let's start with Modern though, because that's kind of what you and I are more familiar with.
Yes.
And then we can transition over to Pioneer.
Okay, so Fury getting banned, we called this. I even mentioned it, and so let's see here. Fury most often plays a 4/4 double striker that clears an opponent's board, makes playing with creature decks nearly impossible. Rakdos Evoke has only risen in the metagame share since the Modern Pro Tour this summer, and coming in right behind it is 4-color Onmath, also featuring Fury. So again, that goes back to what they were saying, there's a card those two get deck share that we're getting rid of. Played in a smattering of other decks as well. Murktide. Fury is keeping several diverse and interesting strategies at bay, and for this reason, Fury is banned in Modern. The thing you pointed out, it's possible these decks, being the Rakdos Evoke deck / Rakdos Scam deck, begin to transform into white versions that utilize Solitude and or Ephemerate. However, a rebought Solitude is not as threatening as a 4/4 with double strike and provides the deck with less coverage against the metagame, which is true.
Yes, you can deal with a rebought Solitude.
Yes, the beauty of rebought Solitude and rebought Grief is that they are both killable by Lightning Bolt.
Also, a rebought Solitude is if you only have one creature on the field, they're only going to get one effect, right?
Right.
Yeah, and it's not the double striking powerhouse. that it was. And you mentioned lightning bolt, but also it's just easier to like get something on there to block it.
Right. It's only 4 power. You're not taking 8 damage a turn cycle with it.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think if that's the route it goes, I think Scale will still be decent. It's going to miss like the mid game power that Red was able to, unless they go to Mardu Scam, where they have like Fable, Ragavan.
I don't think they're going to go that route.
I don't think they will either, but like they're going to miss a
I
lot
could
of
see
mid game power.
an Esper control version using the grief, the scam cards, blue and white.
Interesting. I'd play Ephemerate over that then.
Probably. Well, you
Over
could,
any Undying effect.
or you could run a split.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's
That's Fury.
fantastic.
I mean, we agree. It
Yeah.
hurts my Murktide deck a bit because Murktide was already pretty weak to. I feel like Murktide's fairly weak to creature decks, so creature decks creature deck stocks rise, and not just creature combo like Yawgmoth. I mean, like prowess can come back to a degree. Humans
You
can
can.
come back to a degree, and people are like, "Oh, you can just play Lightning Bolt and Unholy Heat and Fatal Push and remove all that stuff." Yeah, but
Yeah.
also like those are 1-for-1s. Those are not
Uh
2-for-1s or 3-for-1s.
yeah, but there's other effects that could take care of those too though. Like Anger of the Gods, right?
Anger of the Gods, Brotherhood's End. You have
Mhm.
your board, but like those, you have to make the concerted effort to actually play those cards now, as opposed to just being like, ah, like that wipes the board and does nothing else afterwards. Fury
It's
is
true.
a wipe the board and leave a 3/3 double striker or 4/4 double striker.
That's true. I think it's going to be more enjoyable, Dan.
Yes. All right.
Up the Beanstalk, though. Here,
Mhm.
I'll take this one. Up the
Sure.
Beanstalk is one of Modern's newest inclusions, subsidizing many cards in the format that cost 5 or more mana. However, it is rare for a player to pay anywhere close to 5 mana to cast the cards they are using with Up the Beanstalk. While removing Fury from the format will certainly impact the usage of the Beanstalk, we don't believe that will be enough. It is remarkably difficult to interact with a 2 mana enchantment profitably, as the card replaces itself immediately, with players often playing free spells on them on the same turn. Oh my god, I can't read, guys.
It's fine.
On the same turn, since they get such a great return on the deal. It's particularly telling when players have concluded that cascading into Up the Beanstalk is more advantageous than the 0 mana options like Crashing Footfalls and Living End. For those reasons, Up the Beanstalk is banned in Modern. This is a great read. They
Yeah.
read it well.
Yep, I 100% agree with this. I've been complaining about it for weeks. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know that I hate the beans plus like 1 mana draw a card, or 0 mana draw a card, remove something. Like the Leyline Binding beans, the Solitude beans, Commandeer with beans is insane
Yeah.
too. Like there's just a lot that I hate with beans, and this is a great way to curb that. It forces 4-color back onto the ring plan, and
Mhm.
we now get to see if ring really is as broken as people thought it would be. Because ring, I don't feel like had enough of a time to figure out if it was broken or not,
Yeah.
because beans came out immediately after and was infinitely more broken than the ring was. So let's find out if the ring is a problem as much as everyone says it is.
Yeah, there's also the idea too with the ring. Right, you have bowmasters to kind of try to offset that, right? Because
Right.
granted, if they get shielded down, you're just kind of boned. But uh, stop the shielded.
Stop the ring. Just stop the card advantage. It's that
Yeah,
simple.
yeah, yep. Narset stocks probably went up because of that a little
Mhm.
bit, but whatever. I do think though, because of the Beanstalk ban, we should maybe see a price fall in bowmasters. It's not going to be as relevant anymore.
We'll
unless
see.
unless the unless unless the ring really does become a bigger play.
We'll see. It depends on the creature decks that get played, because the creature decks, if they're all like, I don't know how the creature decks are going to do, considering like Bowmaster still punishes one toughness, and it's also like how much is Bowmasters going to see play now in general, because the most popular deck in the format was Rakdos Scam, and it fit right in there. So, does mono black control, does that rise? Does its stocks rise? Do people start splashing black in different decks? Does Murktide start splashing black to play Bowmasters?
Hmm.
Do the Shadow decks, do they bump up in play rate? Because that's another good card to put in the Shadow decks. So
Yeah.
I'm not willing to call like Bowmasters dead. It just depends. Like, I think the format has to develop a bit. This is also why I think people are gonna probably raise Murktide stocks slightly because of this. Let me tell you something. Murktide is not going to do very well for the first 3 weeks of this format, because
Mm-mm.
Murktide
Nope.
does very bad into
New
really
format.
wide formats.
Hmm.
So yeah, if you're a Murktide player, don't get discouraged by these early results that you see. I wouldn't say it's the best deck in the format, because its number one predator still remains. But you now, as a Murktide player, and me, the big thing that you worry about is not having to play the spell snares. Maybe spell snare falls off a bit. I don't know. But now you just have to worry about countering rings as like the big mana advantage thing in the format.
Yeah, but you got a null for that, so easy peasy.
Yeah, in the sideboard.
Yeah. Let's move on, Dan, because this is just meant to be a quick thing for
Yep.
us. Pioneer. Let's move to Pioneer because that's the secondary format we play a lot of. Which one do you want to take? Do you want to take Karn or Geological Appraiser here?
I'll take Karn, because I think we've both been calling for this for a very, very, very long time. All
Not
right.
just us, a lot of people.
Well, yeah, but like, since basically like I had my modern RCQ, I was like, boy, this Karn is unfair. But
Yep.
so, even though the metagame share and win rate of mono green Nykthos decks have been within a reasonable range, the deck has simply been a large component of the Pioneer metagame for most of the format's lifetime. With Karn the Great Creator's capable with Karn the Great Creator capable of finding threats and solutions to whatever the deck encounters, it can be quite difficult to go over the top of this strategy. This causes the metagame to either try to go underneath it, or to try to ignore what it's doing with their own combo strategy, effectively bending the metagame due to its existence. The consistency and strength of the deck also makes it very difficult for various types of fair mid-range strategies to exist. Karn's range is so broad it can facilitate convoluted infinite combos that make the format less approachable, Stonebrain combo, at little or to no opportunity cost. Additionally, Karn's ability to naturally suppress artifacts is likely keeping a spread of interesting cards from being played. While it has been recently on the decline in terms of the metagame share, that's because. I'm sorry, let me continue. It's clear the deck has had a warping effect on the metagame for too long, and for those reasons, Karn the Great Creator is banned. The reason why it's been on the decline is because there have been no
Geological
RCQs.
Appraiser.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
that too. Yeah.
There
Yeah.
have been no RCQs. You see the usage of mono green go up when it's tournament time, and when it's not
Yep.
tournament time, people don't fucking play it because they don't find it fun. But the reason they play it for tournament time is
To
it's
grind it out.
really good, and like
It's consistent.
it's
Great.
really
Yeah.
consistent. So they say that, but I don't think they understand why it does that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They're not in tune with the competitive scene just yet, it seems like.
Yeah.
Granted, it's still a good ban,
Yes.
and it's they at least made the right choice and they listened to the community. It sounds like they listened to the community on this one, as it's just not a fun play pattern.
Yes. Seeing sideboard cards. It was the problem with Companion. The reason why they had to errata companions.
Yep.
Having a 61st card is not fun. Having access to 75 cards, or 70 plus cards in a format that's supposed to be slower than Modern. Like, I'm fine with
Right.
Karn in Modern, but like in Pioneer, you shouldn't have access. Like, you have the learn cards, that's fine. You can use the 3 mana wish spell from AFR. You can use Dark Petition or Mastermind's Acquisition, one of those cards. But
Right.
but those are like one-time uses for the most part. They're 4 mana. They're not repeatable. You
And they don't tax you. They don't
and
tax the
right,
opponent.
right. And then you also, it's not a permanent on the battlefield that has a static effect. It also to reuse it, it actually requires resources outside of just having the card live, because it's going to live because you're going to play like a 5/6 and a 4/4 and a 3/3 and a couple 1/1s to be able to block anything that goes at it.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah.
yes, Karn is a good ban.
Great ban. We've been calling for it. We're happy. With Karn going, do you foresee the ramp deck doing anything else?
So now it will actually need to have a way, because it now needs an alternate win con, because like it had like its combo win con with Chain Veil, Stone Brain, that kind of thing, where it could just instantly go off. Now it needs something else to do with that mana. I don't know what it's going to do with that mana. I
I think
haven't
it's
played
gonna. I
that
think
deck
it's
enough.
gonna. I think it's gonna go into a
It
Stompy
might.
direction because, right, the Paluchronos that came out with Mom
Hmm.
and stuff like that. Those are really good
Those are
cards,
really strong.
and they're really strong just on their own. And you could get them out fast and transformed fast with this deck. So I think it's going to shift to a more Timmy Stompy style
Yeah,
deck.
probably still mono green. Probably still running
Hmm.
Storm the Festival on all the normal suspects. The big thing though is how it built its sideboard, because its sideboard was entirely built for Karn. Like
Right. Yeah.
it doesn't sideboard for any matchups. It just was
Uh, they'll probably also reduce, probably just get rid of. There was a secondary planeswalker in that deck too. What was that?
Nissa. No,
Nissa.
not
They'll
Nissa.
probably get.
Oh, sorry, not Nissa. Fuck. What's her name? It's the one that untaps.
Oh, right. Yeah. So they're probably freeing up 4 slots out of the main deck because you don't need that.
You don't need Oath of Nissa. You likely don't need Oath of Nissa anymore, unless you're still running the Nykthos package. In which case, yeah, you want as many permanents on the
I, I'm
battlefield.
I'm 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 stepping that back with the Nissa that untap stuff
It's not
because
Nissa.
right.
I can't remember her name right now.
Oh yeah, Kira.
Kira. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Kiora.
I
Kiora. We found it. We got
Kiora.
there.
Yeah. So you probably are running those still because you do want to be generating that big mana fast. So
Right.
they're okay. So they're probably only getting four slots by removing the Karn.
Yes.
But still, like we just got a bunch of big dinosaurs, so with a lot of green pips.
Yeah, they might just go
Yeah,
Stompy. If they could go mono green Stompy, like mono green Stompy devotion, fine. That's at
that's
least
where I
like,
predict it.
yeah, I'm fine with that.
That's, yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's get to Geological Appraiser. The introduction of the Lost Caverns of Ixalan brought new toys to the format. The Discover mechanic featured on cards such as Geological Appraiser, Trumpeting Connoisseur, and Quintorius Cond have given rise to brand new strategies that don't play any other cards naturally, costing 4 or less aside from that don't play any other cards naturally, costing 4 or less, aside from cloning effects. When left undisturbed, these decks can either produce enough creatures to win via combat or enough Quintorius triggers to deal lethal damage to an opponent directly. Being able to win the game on the spot on turn 3 with Geological Appraiser after creating a single treasure token is a bit too much pressure on folks to be a good thing for the long-term health of the format. While it's not clear that this is the strongest thing to be doing in Pioneer, without some form of interaction, players can lose the game as early as their own second turn. This doesn't meet our long term vision for the format, where players can enjoy a variety of macro strategies before losing the game so early. If every deck must run 1 or 2 mana interaction spells, the format shrinks. For these reasons, Geological Appraiser is banned. They're going to keep an eye on the Quintorius decks in Pioneer, as it can win as early as turn 4, resolving solely its namesake card, but that extra turn allows opponents to step up their own game plan to prepare for pivotal turn more successfully.
Yep.
So yeah, we called this. I think it's just because it was so easy and consistent on that turn 3, with the ability to create like what there were 12 treasure create spells
Yep.
for. 2 mana or less.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
need. I brought it up on the like the most recent episode. You need you need 2 lands, a magma opus, or like 3 lands and either of your other cards that create a
to
treasure,
create. Yeah,
and then a geological appraiser. As like you can easily mulligan to 4 to get any of that stuff,
and then
or
you just
mulligan to 3 or 5 or whatever.
yeah, you can get some free mulligans because when you get that appraiser resolved, you're done. You're winning in board state. Uh, Fantastic call there. I This is probably one of the faster bands I've seen since I've started playing Magic. Um, I'm trying to think back because we started around call time,
When did
end of
Tibble?
call time.
Yeah, so we like Tibble's Trickery obviously was a ban from Kaldheim, but I don't know how quick that was in Pioneer
I don't know either.
because we were mostly playing Commander at the beginning of like during Kaldheim.
We were, yeah. So it could have either been the Tybalts or this as being the
Yeah,
fastest ban in Pioneer that I've seen.
because like
Actually, I
Oko
think
was like
in
light
general.
speed. Oko
Yeah,
the Oko ban was like immediate, and
but we weren't playing yet. So.
yeah, we weren't there for that.
But yeah, so that's fantastic. I think it's a good call. And you know what? They could potentially bring it back if the format evolves differently.
I
Um,
don't see how the format should evolve differently. To me, you shouldn't be killing somebody on turn 3
no,
in Pioneer.
I'm saying if there's more cheap counter magic created.
Well, they need to actually just print that then. Like, stop fucking around.
No,
Like, let's play.
I
Let's print
know.
some goddamn counter magic.
I understand. I'm saying
I know.
in future sets 5 years from now, who knows? Uh, anyways, lastly though, in Pioneer there was also an unbanned of Smuggler's Copter. They banned it back in December 2019. Since then, many new sets have entered the format, and as such, the format has naturally grown in power over time. While unbanning is not something we do very often, we believe the format can absorb it successfully. Reintroducing it will create new deck building puzzles or revive old ones and provide additional diversity. So you and I looked at it a little bit, but just to give a refresher, it's a 2 mana artifact vehicle, crew 1/3/3 with flying. Whenever it attacks or blocks, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. I believe this will probably just go into maybe mono black, the mono
Uh,
black waste knot.
yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, because you. Well, actually, it doesn't trigger. It doesn't trigger waste not, but
It won't
um,
trigger waste knot, but it'll help you find answers quickly.
yeah. So we talked about it a little bit. We're not familiar with Smuggler's Copter. As you just heard, we don't. We haven't played these formats since before Kaldheim, and really,
Mhm.
I started getting into 64 card formats like right after Modern Horizons 2. So that was 2021. So like mid 2021. So like
Yeah,
yeah. Um I feel like based off of what it does that it can give aggro strategies card selection. I don't know if I like that cuz like you can easily just go like turn 1 fucking Swift Spear, swing with Swift Spear. Turn 2 go this and just hold back the Swift Spear. Now, of course, you're holding back the Swift Spear. That kind of sucks. But like, your opponent, if they want to swing into you, and because they forgot about the Smuggler Copter, now you get to crew the Smuggler Copter, draw a discard, which is probably like discard that 4th land you've drawn because that happens in your aggro deck. And then on turn 3, you play another one. Power creature, and you go. All right, attack with Swift Spear, attack with Smuggler Copter, draw, discard another card. Like that to me seems bad.
this goes into cruel boats. I just realized
Yeah, yeah,
that's why you saw me like hit my face. I was like, God dang it! I hate cruel boats as a mono weight humans player.
yeah.
uh, I don't see this being a thing in humans either, though.
It
This is
might.
just too
It
bad.
depends.
It could maybe be a sideboard card if you're going against maybe spirits. That's actually a pretty good blocker against most of the spirits.
That's a great call, Bill. That's a wonderful call.
Uh,
Good call.
that's a pretty good sideboard card against spirits. Yeah. I don't know how it's going to work.
I don't either.
We'll see in the next coming weeks. Actually, we'll probably see this weekend
Yeah,
because people are going to probably take it to the RCQ, or no, it's just the RC.
the
It's the
RC's
RC.
the following weekend.
No, it's this weekend.
The RC is the no, believe me. The RC begins
Oh.
on the 15th.
Oh, I thought it was this weekend. Okay, fun stuff. Uh, we're not going to talk about Explorer because it
It's the
same
same thing as
reasons.
Pioneer.
Yeah. Pauper, we have the Monastery Swift Spear ban. I didn't read Gavin's post about it yet.
It is a separate post, and I keep getting a bad gateway for it, which is great.
I've got it here. He just likes to write a lot, so give me a second to parse through.
Of course.
Problems, concerns, speed and polarization. Okay, so that's the problem that they're talking about in this article is speed and polarization. The format has sped up considerably with cards like Tolarian Terror, All That Glitters, and Swift Spear, among others. It has led to decks with faster, more explosive starts, and when your starts can be so strong or difficult to interact with, it can make games feel very lopsided, and that's where the polarization comes in. Sure, with advantage draws, the games are fine, but when mono red gets a good draw, or maybe you stumble slightly, you're just dead inside of 4 turns. When Tolarian Terror hits the right mix, it cantrips or hits off a Thought Scour, you're suddenly facing down a double terror on turn 3, and so on. So we wanted to make a change, and we talked a lot about potential bans and even reversing some. So they're looking at a candid look. I don't want to read that.
Anything they're saying that they were looking at being unbanned, or were they just like we were looking at unbans?
They were looking at it.
Okay.
I'm trying to just give us what we need. There are 2 different bottle. They bottled the cards into 2 different things. Oh wait, no. I don't know what the hell they're talking about here.
Yeah, that sounds like
Basically,
Gavin.
yeah, 2 different cards. Ren's Resolve and Reckless Impulse gives a ton of card advantage and
Sure does.
long-term gameplay while letting you cheat on lands. Same goes for Experimental Synthesizer. However, these really want a diversity of cheaper plays to get full value and can be a huge in conjunction with the Swift Spear. The deck has plenty of cheap plays remaining, but losing a marquee one is a huge deal. Rebirth, though, gives the deck the strongest start in conjunction with Bushwhacker. However, both cards have been in Pauper for a long time. A lot of fun and casual stuff, some explosive strategies. Knocking one of these out with a long time piece of Pauper history. Basically, like they're wanting to keep the history. With those so this goes back to why they don't ban Dark Ritual, right?
Yeah, which is
It's
stupid.
part of the history. I agree, it's stupid. It's a
It's
stupid reason.
stupid.
But yeah, Goblin Tomb Raider is the new kid on the block. It makes a goblin it's made a goblin guide when you play with Great Furnace. It's polarity when drawn alongside an artifact land, blah blah blah. They talked
We're
about
getting in really into the weeds here. There's a lot of stuff.
yeah, like
Gavin, there's way too like there's
he wrote an entire book here
yeah,
just on Swift Spear.
one
Basically,
card
it
being
seems like
banned. That's insane.
yeah. All right, Gavin, I'm sorry, I'm not reading it. I'm going to go watch your video on it later.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
basically, what I'm going to say here is it seems like they're banning Swift Spear because it was related to you being able to get it out on turn 1, swing for 1 damage on turn 2. You're able to get card draw. So you would essentially need 4 cards in your hand to do something functional, right? You would need a Swift Spear, 2 lands, and a Reckless Impulse effect.
Yeah. So yeah,
And it boosts it, playing each one of those impulses boosts up your Swift Spear, and it was just unfun. I don't know how I feel about it. Because I'm a big fan of Monastery Swift Spear in the format. I loved it. But I also haven't played it played the format in a really long time. basically since Pioneer RCQ season kicked off.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not gonna. I don't think I'll really miss it a whole lot in the format. Because it's whatever. There's other prowess creatures that you can play.
Yeah, I mean,
Not for one, but yeah,
red's fine. Red's gonna be fine.
yeah. Red's gonna be fine.
It's not gonna be as good. And I think that's part of the problem is like you're now leaving a vacuum for blue to be a thing by doing this. Like there needed to
Yeah,
be more than just Swiss Spear banned here.
yeah. So I'm gonna see. We will probably see the all that glitters and Swift Spears and Blue Terror decks rise up.
Yep, because those are the best ones now.
Yeah. As mentioned, all that glitters is insanely powerful if you're playing artifact lands. Because on turn 2, you could have a 2/4 Ornithopter.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh wait, no, it'd be a 3/5 Ornithopter because
3/5
Ornithopter.
Ornithopter. Yep.
Yeah,
So in regards to this, and Gavin saying the speed of the format, I argue that Pauper needed to speed up
I
because
agree.
there was I've told the story like 14 times, but there was that like whenever Swiftspear got downshifted, and I went to my locals to play Pauper, I built hot dogs, and
Hot dog.
I turned 3'd somebody because they were playing like a really dirtily slivers deck, and it's like okay, you like. Come on. Everyone was just playing this super dirtily deck, and I'm just like blitzing them out on like turn 3 or 4. And I'm like, yeah,
Right.
good. Because like you guys, like we should be playing more honest. Like everyone's just kind of playing combo and just like, my combo deck's eventually going to win. And it's like, no. We need to actually have like threats in this format that do something that actually push a clock.
You need aggro. You need mid range. You need control.
You need combo.
You need combo. Like these formats need all these different archetypes to make them fun and interesting.
Yeah, and to me there was no good aggro until Swiftspear hit, and that
Yeah.
started pushing down mana curves. And I'm like, great, this is more like the game that I want to play, where everyone's playing cards. No one's just like, all right, I play a land and pass. I play a land and pass. I play a
Yeah.
land and pass.
If you don't advance board state somehow on turn 1, you should feel pretty bad.
That's all I wanted in the format, was just
Yeah.
somebody to
Mhm.
go something other than I'll play a tap land and pass. And it's like, boy,
Yeah.
what a boring game this is. Like, okay, fine. Here's Swift Spear. All right, here's a Kiln Fiend. All right, now here's mutagenic growth. Fucking gut shot. You're dead.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'm actually a fan of. He did bring up the new Goblin Guide.
Yep.
It's the Goblin Tomb Raider. I think that's probably what makes this an okay ban.
Yeah, I think that card's fine.
I think that makes it an okay ban because, yeah, you're getting a if you play a Great Furnace and the Tomb Raider, you're getting a 2/2 with haste turn 1. That's a
It's fine.
great aggro start. That's a
That's fine.
fantastic aggro start, um, and I think it can push things a little further than if they would have banned Swift Spear before the set release.
Yes. To me, this, like, I think all this does is you go back to the mono red decks you were playing before LCI, and you just take out Swift Spear and you put in the Goblin Tomb Raider, and
Yep.
maybe you're not doing like you're definitely, because you're definitely going like the combo obviously is like turn 1 Voldaren Epicure into turn 2 Raider, and that way you go like, all right, here's 4 damage on turn 2, plus like 1 mana left over that you can use to
Right.
activate the artifact. Um, if you want to. So like go with that. And then I don't
Yeah.
know, you keep with the Cold Oath of Rebirth, you keep with the Bushwhacker, and like it looks like that
Yeah.
strategy.
Yeah.
Fine.
I think Red's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be
And
fine. I just think it's gonna be less good. And then you have the problem of blue and affinity being left alone, which probably shouldn't have happened. But I mean, here we are.
Gavin, we love you. Please don't write books or give a TLDR.
Yeah, yeah. For the love of God, like I like we don't need that much explaining on the format. Like if you want, like if I'll say this, if because Gavin, like on the actual article of the announcement itself, overall, like every format announcement, it says read Gavin Verhey's article, and it's just like no. Gavin, provide like a 1 paragraph summary of why you're banning Monastery Swiftspear, and then if you want to talk
Yep.
about like if you want to have a second article that's like the update, like our updated philosophy on the Pauper format as a
Right.
secondary article, great. But like, give us
Perfect.
a summary article on why you banned Monastery Swiftspear, and that's it, and just throw that in the main thing, and then be like, if you want to find out more about the format, please read Gavin's article here.
Perfect. Well, Dan, I think we've hit all the ban announcements. So I'm going to go ahead and say, let's close this out on YouTube. If you are watching, give us your takes. Do you agree with the bans? Do you think more should have been banned from Modern? Let us know.
Or other
Like, comment,
formats,
subscribe, or
not
other
just
formats. Yeah.
not just Modern and Pioneer, but if you think something that should have been banned in Standard, Legacy, Vintage, Canadian Highlander, let us know.
Yeah. Let us know. And yeah, show us in the comments what you think should have been, or if you just agree with what's happening and we should just wait and see for the next set release. Until then, though, keep calm and spike on.